cool program because it's almost like a cooperative program where internationally trained lawyers can come to Canada and they can enroll in this program, and it gives them a crash course in Canadian law and sets them up for an internship with a law firm.
So from there, a lot of Indian students move to Canada to pursue their masters once they're done with their law school here, and it's majorly to enter the Canadian job market as attorneys. So, what would your advice be for international students who are wanting to start their career in Canada?
So I do not have a lot of personal experience with this, but I can tell you a few things that I have learned in the last little bit. So at Ryerson University in Toronto, they now have a program called LPP. I can't remember what it stands for right now, but it's a cool program because it's almost like a cooperative program where internationally trained lawyers can come to Canada and they can enroll in this program, and it gives them a crash course in Canadian law and sets them up for an internship with a law firm, which then gets their foot in the door to get hired and helps them to meet our articling or internship requirements in Canada.
That's great.
And I know a couple of students who are in that program now and have just been raving about it. It's fabulous. I am going to be having actually a group of international students on my podcast in the new year, talking about this very issue, because I get the question about this a lot. And I don't know anything about it. And so I thought, well, there are people that do. People have come to Canada. They have gotten trained. Let's talk about this. So I will be having some students on from, there's one, I believe, from England, from Brazil, and from South Africa. We're going to be talking about their experiences of coming to Canada as an internationally trained lawyer and the different programs that they went through to get positions in our country. So that should be coming out sort of in the springish of next year.
Okay. I'm sure in your journey, you must have made a lot of mistakes, if I am not wrong. What have you learned from them? And, in terms of how you'd advise freshers now or young professionals now, and what do you think they should take care of that maybe you did not?
So I think there are two kinds of mistakes, and I've definitely made with them. So I think mistake number one is a mistake on a file. I think mistake number two is a mistake about your career. So there's the two different mistakes. I think if we look first at the mistake on a file, nobody is ever going to fire you for making a mistake on a file. And if they do, you're not at the right place, because mistakes happen and we all make mistakes. But what will end your career is lying about a mistake, hiding a mistake, blaming someone else for a mistake. And I think when we make a mistake, it's our gut reaction to hide it, because we're in panic mode. It's like, what if someone finds out?
Yeah.
And now being on the other side of it and having to have young lawyers come to me and say, oh, I screwed this up. I remember advice that I was given early on in my career, which is there's pretty much no mistakes that can't be fixed with a little bit of money, an apology, and eating some crow, right? I mean, you can fix almost everything. Yeah. Especially if it's just a mistake. If you've actually like stolen something or there was an intention, totally different story. But if you just put the wrong number in or you forgot to phone somebody, it's okay. Life will go on. But where it gets problematic is when you don't admit it and you don't come forward and you don't apologize and seek the help. Because if you can come as a mature person and say, I did this, I'm sorry, can you help me? Nobody will turn you away. And nobody will look badly on you. And I think that's the most important thing, as hard as it is. And so if you can find somebody in your firm, and it doesn't have to be the senior partner, somebody that you feel comfortable going into their office and saying those words, that person can help you go to the person you need to go to. So then it's like a buddy system. You have a supporter, and sometimes that's necessary. So that's, I think, the mistakes on a file. In terms of mistakes on your career, I think that when I look back on my career, I look back on the first sort of 5 years and think, I was really stupid the way that I was approaching things. And nobody was communicating that to me. And so I didn't realize it until later. And one of the things I realized is I was younger. I was in my mid to late 20s. and I was getting involved in office drama just because that's what you do. There's stuff going on at the office, you get involved.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of things and expending a lot of energy that wasn't providing any kind of value at the firm. And I was exhausted because I was thinking these people aren't appreciating me. I'm working so hard and nobody knows. And so I think if you can sort of early on in your career, stay out of the office drama and really establish yourself as being an honest, committed team player. And then instead of assuming what people need from you, you ask the question, what do I need to do? Here's the goals I've set for myself. Are those goals in line with what the firm is expecting? Because if the answer is no, maybe you need to find a different firm, right? Like maybe you guys aren't a good fit. Or if the answer is no, that's actually your goal for 3 years from now. Here's the stepping stone we want you to accomplish this year. Well, then why are you putting all this work out if you don't need to? Like have an open dialogue with the partnership to make sure that you're constantly thinking about your goal setting. And I was doing goal setting from the beginning. I just was doing it in a vacuum without talking to anybody. And so I think that's really important, is just to have that open dialogue and the fact that you're in control of your career. Don't expect someone to do that for you. Lawyers are way too busy and they forget that you're new. They forget that you need help. And so sometimes you have to go knock on the door and say, I need help. I don't know what to do. And that's important to remember.